security part inside AWS. Okay, so first of all, we already know about IAM, and we know about Cognito, which can be used, and then we know about WAF and Shield. We also do know that there is something known as a AWS Firewall Manager. Now, the same way like we said yesterday, that this is nothing but your Shield itself. You have the Shield over here, and you can go and just add the rules over there, or if you want to stop your machine from the DOS or the DDoS attack, you can do that using this firewall. Okay, so let's start. We'll start this way down and we'll see till where we reach. Okay, first of all, a resource access manager. So a resource access manager can be used if in case you want to share your resources with multiple people or multiple accounts. So if you create a resource share, then in that case you can choose any of these services over here. So it can be basically it is over the infra first of all. So you will find a lot about the subnets and the networking part first, and then it will also be about the storage part. So you do already know that if you want to share your images AMI, that can be done. If you want to share your snapshots, that can also be done. If you want to share your EC2 instances, so again the AMI and the same thing. If you want to share your storage buckets, that can be done. If you want to extend your network, or you want to connect your network to some external network or to some external provider, that can be done via network peering and so on. So in this case, whatever we are doing over here, so these all things we can share it. So in this case, if we click on subnets, let's say, and we have multiple subnets over here, so in that case we can choose it with some external account also. So the same way as we were doing in case of a VPC, where the network peering was there and it was being shared with some external account, that can also be done in this way. Okay, so if you have something shared, it will be visible over here, and if in case someone is sharing with you, it will be visible over here. It's the same way as you did in case of your network peering. So that's about a resource access manager. Now the next thing, something known as a secrets manager. So if you go and create a secrets, okay, before we go for secrets, let me just go and create a RDS instance first of all, so that it will help you in understanding exactly what this is. So for RDS, what we'll do, we'll go and create a RDS of MySQL, let's say. And we obviously know that if you have to create a RDS or a relational database service of MySQL, it has to be inside a network. It has to have an ID, a password, an initial database name, and so on. So let's start with that. We click on create database over here. And then let's create one MySQL database first. So this one, we want to go for the MySQL, this one. Let's take a free tier one, and we'll be taking the SQL one. So version 5.7.33. Database name, let's create ID as, let's say, admin itself, and some password. So I'm just putting the simple password over here. This, if you want, you can auto generate a password also. So because it is a free tier, so that is the reason why we'll only see a T2 micro. If you had gone for production and all, you would have seen those other classes also. So in this case, 20 GB is fine. It can auto scale to 1000 and so on. And let's go and create a database. So while this is being created, we will go back and see what our secrets manager is. So in this case, or rather, let's skip the secret manager for one reason. We'll understand it in 5 minutes, that why didn't we go and create this secret manager. First of all, let's go to our GuardDuty. So a GuardDuty basically means is a service that is protecting your AWS account. So what GuardDuty does is that, so let's go back to CloudTrail basically. So inside CloudTrail, I know that in case of my CloudTrail, if some user is performing some activity which should not be done, or rather for that sake, if a user is performing any activity at all, that is all being logged via CloudTrail. CloudTrail is only logging those things. It's if someone does anything, and after, let's say, a day or 10 minutes or half an hour, you want to know that who did this, you can go back to CloudTrail and do that. Other way, you say that if the user has performed a specific operation, like let's say create bucket, delete bucket, updating the ACL and so on, in that case, CloudTrail can trigger an event, or rather, let's say CloudWatch events or my events bridge is going to trigger that event, and that can be captured via Lambda, SNS, and multiple services of AWS. So in that case, we are deciding that, okay, if a delete bucket happens, this has to happen. If a stop instance happens, this has to happen. If a terminate instance happens, this has to happen. We are basically deciding that what should be the action based on what that resource is doing at that moment. So these things, if we want to create, we will have to create our own events inside events bridge. So if events bridge is there, we have to configure, and there can be a lot of options which are there. We might have not even thought of that option, that okay, this might also be an event. In that case, if you want AWS to automatically protect your account, so I know that my buckets are there and generally no one is deleting my bucket, so I might not have even created a CloudWatch event or my events bridge in that case. So what if a sudden anomaly happens in this case? So for that, we can take help of Amazon GuardDuty. Now, doing this is as simple as going over here and then just going and enabling GuardDuty. It is free for 30 days. It is automatically going to read the data from your Cloud Trail, flow logs, and DNS query logs. We don't know flow logs as of now, that is fine, but at least we do know what a Cloud Trail log is. Whatever you are doing inside your account, DNS query logs, who is trying to go to your website to query, for example, let's say www.iamankit.xyz, who is trying to get the A record, CNAME, and so on. VPC flow log, by the way, means that whatever data is flowing in and out of your VPC, that all is also logged, or it can be read. So you want to know that who actually came inside my network, or who actually had sent a request to my VPC. So that can be captured via flow logs. So but obvious, this thing can be done via Cloud Trail also, but in that case we have to monitor the entire thing. We don't want to monitor, rather we give this job to AWS that it will monitor. We just have to go and enable GuardDuty, and that's pretty much it. GuardDuty is automatically going to tell you that what all services or what all things are happening inside your AWS account, and how can you stop that if in case it sees an anomaly is there. Now, there is also something known as a delegated administrator. In this case, you will see these things, more in case of security inside AWS. The reason for that is, what if your root account itself is compromised? The same thing was there inside your S3 also. If you remember, you had concept of replication, where the data from one bucket was replicated to the next bucket, and you created that person as the owner of that bucket even, so that if by chance someone deletes your bucket, they can't go and delete the next bucket inside the next user's account. So if you want, you can also go and delegate your administrator access to this external account ID, so that even if something happens to this account ID, I still have my this particular user who can perform some action on my account. So the only thing that you have to do is to enable GuardDuty, and just have a look. Let it come up over here. In this case, you will see list, you will add the S3 protection and the accounts. Okay. Now, until you don't need it, please don't use it. Okay. In case of companies, you actually will use it also. So until the findings and the usage, this is going to tell you that how much is it actually costing you. So it is going to read about S3, VPC, Cloud Trail, and DNS log. It is first of all going to tell you that how much you are using, what all things are happening inside this account, that will show up inside your findings. Okay. So all of these regions, it will show you that this person from this IP tried to do this, and the last seen activity was here and the count was here. So let's say you have decided to block a IP address. So it will tell you that this IP over here tried to access this, last seen this, and this, and the count, how many times they tried to log in, 80 times, 100 times, whatever that number is. So you are going to see that inside your findings. Now, over here, let's go to list. So you yesterday had a question that I want to block certain IPs. So first thing, if you just yes, Neha, here's something.
Yeah, basic concept of guard duty is reading logs of S3 and
VPC,
Yeah.
Route 53.
Yeah.
Yep.
But if it is reading logs, how it means that it is protecting it or something, or
It
just
can take
reading
some.
and doing what
It will
exactly?
show you inside the findings over here. It will aggregate the information for you.
Okay, so
And
if
then based on that,
we
you can
don't
take
have to
some action.
actually. Okay,
See,
okay,
Neha,
got
the
it.
logs, if you see your CloudTrail logs today also, it would have been such a big log. No, you don't have time to understand the logs.
Yeah,
So
okay.
it is just helping you that, okay, ma'am, out of those 1 lakh log, these five we find might be of a issue. Please see what you want to do with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say
Okay.
these 5 logs are over there, and you see that, okay, this IP somehow is giving me a problem. You can go and block your IP. By the way, you do know that if you just want to go and block one IP, that can also be done via ACL, isn't it? Right. Apart from that, you can also go over here, list, and you can give a trusted IP list. Now, one thing over here, you cannot just go and give the list as it is. What I mean is, you cannot go and just say that stop this IP and this. Rather, you will have to go and give the location of that. So let me show you one of that. Okay, so let's say cancel over here, trusted, and a threat list over here. So fine, this is also available and this is there. Okay. Actually, let's do a live check of it. Okay, we will go and actually work on GuardDuty, because pretty interesting thing it is. What we'll do is we'll go and let's go to EC2 very fast. We create a web server, we create a load balancer, and that load balancer will be inside my VPC, and I will go and enable GuardDuty. So I will see that I will actually see an error in that case, and you guys will still be able to view it. Okay, fine. Very fast, I create an instance with a Apache web server first of all. So while it is being created, because obviously it will take some time in booting up, let me also go and create the load balancer also straight away. So I'm doing nothing, just a website, a normal website with a load balancer, that's it. Also, security is a complete separate course in AWS. It's a very vast service actually, but yeah, we'll see still. So let's call it as a web server, internet facing. Now I don't know that inside which subnet I have put my machine in. So let's go and have a look at it. Okay, by the way, is there any other way by which, without going to the instance, you can figure out that what availability zone that machine is in? Any idea?
Like if it is Mumbai, then we know okay,
No,
this is
I
the
mean AZ, 1A, 1B, 1C, where it is. Subnet, it will obviously take IP, isn't it? Network interface, volumes, all of them will be in the same AZ only, no?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Uh,
Mhm.
Okay, no, nothing.
Okay, it's in 1C. So let's just go and enable 1A and 1C, because at least two you have to do. So this part, and create the load balancer, and let's say that it has to go to a target groups, which we will create now. So let's say that target group is webs. I'm naming it web server -80 right now, and it is inside this VPC. Fair enough. Next, and then the next, obviously we select the instance, include, and create. Right now it's into pending state because this instance itself is not running anything as of now. So that's fine. Let's go to load balancer, and you're going to see nothing over here, right? The reason is you have added. So just refresh it once. This one, web server 80, and create the load balancer. Okay. So if this load balancer is done, we are almost good. Before that, let's go to the instance over here, and let's call this web server -instance. Okay, and connect here, this, and we just have to go and enable web server, isn't it? So sudo apt and then install the web server. We'll install Apache web server. Sudo apt-get install -yn Apache 2. Let it happen. Let's go back to our instance. And this instance will have a security group. We'll also have to go and enable that port number. So let's say port number 80. Okay, so this IP here, if I hit it, I should see the web server now, Apache Ubuntu default page. Fair enough. And then in some time, we go to our load balancer, and we are going to see that the load balancer is also responding. Over here, it will take some time. Yep, we know that because of it has to check for the health check. Let it happen. Let's go back to our GuardDuty. Now, inside GuardDuty, what I will do is, let's say that there is a specific IP which my GuardDuty inside the findings have shown me that this person is trying to access your website or something. Okay, last seen, or it can also show you that I protected you from that particular IP. So how to suppress that? The answer is you can go to your list over here and you can add a threat list. Okay, so let's say we'll call it as block IP address. Here you will have to give the S3 location. Now, generally people are confused in this. So let's just go and create a list now itself. Okay, for that I will add my IP in the threat list. This is my IP here, this, and let's just save it and call it as threat. IP.txt. Now, if this is good, AWS, again, you can't just go and write the threat IPs. You will have to put it inside a S3 bucket. Okay, so for that, let's go and take a S3 bucket. And you can choose any S3 bucket for that sake. It doesn't matter. Let's take this first bucket itself, Bijito 9 March. Though it is in Ohio, but S3 is a global thing, so we're fine. Okay, I already have something here. Okay, fine. Still, even if I have, no worries. I can have multiple one. The location matters more. So let's just drag and drop that. This part here and upload. So if this is there, good for us. Let's go back, thread ip.txt, this one, and let's copy the S3 URL, though this is the same as this or this, the same thing only. And let's give the URL over there. Okay, and the format is a plain text file, isn't it? And I agree and click on that list. Now, AWS, make it active. AWS is actively seeing that if this IP or someone in this IP is trying to get into your network, AWS is going to show you inside the findings over here. Okay, let's try it out. First of all, the load balancer, I say that. Fine. In some time, while we are back, okay, also it takes some time. We are going to see that it is going to show up over here. Okay, this step is important. We will come back to this shortly. Before that, S3 protection. If you want, you can also go and protect your S3. Same thing, S3 bucket is there. People are trying to access data from your S3 bucket. If at all they are trying to access, it will show you inside the findings over here. In this one, okay, that this person is trying to access it and so on. Also, this thing is somewhat delayed. So even if it doesn't show you immediately, it's fine. It takes time, but it will be there. And one final thing, you have accounts. Again, you can delegate your things to any account, and whatever things are there, it can show you over there. Okay, so if you want, you can add them. Fine. This one, we are going to come back in some time inside the findings, and we are going to see one more service over here. But we had left this part earlier, something known as Secrets Manager. And there was a reason why we had gone and created a RDS console. Secret Manager, you see, is a service by which it's like a password manager, basically. So if you don't have your password, or you forgot your password, or rather, let's say you want to just generate a password, or maybe you don't even want to keep a password for that sake, you tell AWS that you can go and manage my password for me. So in this case, you can take help of Secrets Manager. So it will have store, rotate, monitor, and control your access. So Google basically does this inside Chrome. So if you are using Chrome and if your password is compromised, they will tell you what has to be done. You click there, you can automatically change the password. And your browser also would have told you that, do you want me to create a auto-generated password for you? It will automatically rotate that password and so on. Same thing over here. The pricing is this. So it's not free, by the way. So you can store a new secret. This secret obviously has to be used for a database. Now, this is the reason why we had created that database, because we wanted to see this. Now, this can be for RDS, DocumentDB, Redshift, for any other database, which is something over here. So let's say you have a database, MySQL server, the IP, the database name, and the port number. AWS can go and create it for you. So in my case, I have RDS and this. So whatever it is, I can save the password also over here. Okay, so admin and the password of whatever password you want, it can go and create that password for you here. Okay, now let's say, let me create just a password. This one, let's say password itself. And next important thing is that you will have to give this password a name. So you can say like maybe login password and a description. And next, if you want, you can also give the permissions that who can actually access this. But again, this can also be done from your IAM, obviously. So you'll have to give the policies from there also. And if you want, you can also replicate it to different regions. Remember this is only available in these regions. So basically, this password is only available in Mumbai. If you want, you can also replicate it to other regions, just like your global table concept. Finally, you can also enable automatic rotation, in which case this password will automatically be rotated, or the password will automatically change. Yes, Neha.
The secret, it means that we whenever like till now we have entered passwords till for all the services, right? Minimum one time. So that we don't need to do. This secret manager will do it for
Okay,
you. Is it right?
correct. It is like that, or rather, let's say it like this. You have to enter your password inside your website. Okay, you open your phone, you have to type the password. Instead of you typing your password, your Siri or your Android phone itself automatically writes the password over there, no? So
Yeah.
some layer is there, no? This is that layer only. This is that layer inside AWS. So
Okay.
now instead of writing the password, you will call Secrets Manager and you will say, dude, I need password for this service. Which service? This service. And it will automatically log you in. Understood?
Okay, but the password we only need to create, no?
No, if you
While
if you have created first of all that password, good for you. You can use that password. If you haven't, if you have created the password and you forgot it, no worries. AWS will now henceforth work with this password only. This Secrets Manager. So you have two ways. First the password, second the Secrets Manager. Take it that way.
okay.
Okay, so this is actually used more by applications. See, the concept is also this. If you give your password, anyone or any programmer who is having access to your account has the password, isn't it? It's written hard-coded over there, no?
Yeah.
Instead of that, you will tell the programmer that you go and call Secrets Manager. Now, what the password is, no one knows. If the programmer has access to Secret Manager, it will automatically log you in. So from your perspective, you don't even know what the password is. You know that, okay, if I am logged into my company's account, I somehow get access to that service.
Yeah. Yeah, but this is a breach, I think, no?
Why it's a breach?
If you are giving if some somebody will always be able to access the services if they
No. Or they can only access if you have added the policy of Secrets Manager to their account. Secrets Manager also will be a policy.
Okay.
Understood? To access your AWS account, I need the policy there, so you will only give, no?
Okay. But if we are giving, they will be able
Them,
to
yes,
automatically
yes,
log into your
exactly,
services.
exactly.
Okay. Fine.
Okay, cool. So that's a secret manager over here. So, and then if you click on next over here, it can automatically rotate the secret for you. And if you have, you can just use a Lambda function also. So let's say this one. And if you create over here, this is the pass, or this is the code rather, what has to be done. So in this, if you see, we'll, once we are inside Lambda, we'll understand more about it. But in short, how the person will get, have a look. They are running this function client.get secret value, in which they are only passing the name. And what is the name? Name we have already done over here, isn't it? People are going to use the secret name, and AWS will automatically tell you the temporary password over here. That will be in buffer, which will be encoded in base 64. So base 64, if you know, good. If you don't know, just understand that something like this is base 64. This is there. Okay, so even if you want to understand what the password is, you can't decode it back. So again, you will say that I need a password and I need the value, and I'm just passing the name. That name is not the password. AWS will give you a base 64, and using this thing, this is your actual password. Now, henceforth, MySQL will run with this password. Okay, cool. So this is your secrets manager. First of all, let's go and delete this. Okay, one quick question. You are trying to delete the database. It's not allowing you to delete the database. What can be the reason for that?
Delete protection may be enabled.
Good. And
Maybe some data could be there which has to be deleted, and then database should be
yes,
deleted.
maybe the permission itself is also not there, isn't it? Right?
Okay.
Cool. Fine. So let's go back, Neha, and have a look over there. You see this one, because we have added over there, it's saying that it's a medium one. This person tried to access, and what did they try to access? They tried to access the instance on port number 80. And what did they try to do? This was the public IP and this was the private IP. Someone was trying to do a inbound thread on this, and their IP happened to be 172.31.6 this and this. This is the IP over there. And from where it happened from Bangalore in India. From, okay, let's hide this, latitude and longitude, and it happened from this particular provider. And you had told me that this is the block IP address, and this person tried to log inside their account. So basically this person or this guy over here, because I am refreshing this and I am added to the threat list, you will see me like this. Now based on this, you can take some action. You see count is 4. I just increase it like anything, and shortly you will see this will actually increase. Got it? This is what I meant by the threat list. Based on the colors also, it can tell you, because I am actually just visiting the page. No, so it's not a big action. If I try to do a DOS or a DDoS, or I try to do a SSH on this machine, in that case it would have been red. Are we good till here?
Yeah, it is just informing but not blocking.
Taking any action. Exactly, it's not taking any action on that. Actions, if you have to take, that's a service below some.
Okay.
We'll come to that. Fine, cool. So let's go to the next. Okay, first of all, let's, the only problem with this thing, no, if you go and enable GuardDuty, disabling it is a big pain. So,
and only IP addresses can be blocked in GuardDuty. This kind of error will only be showing if you're uploading in S3.
yeah,
That
this thing is, what is this?
IP
That's your answer.
list.
Okay, only IP. Fine.
So GuardDuty equal to IP addresses only.
GuardDuty, yes, yes. Because
Okay.
anyhow, see, any network connection which is coming to you at the end of the day, isn't it IP address only?
But you said other services also.
Other
No?
services also, if I'm trying to get into your account, that is also via IP only, no? The public
Okay.
IP only, no? Anyway, I access any of the services, I will be a computer only, no? I will be IP only, no?
Okay, got it.
So that's your GuardDuty for you, very important in AWS security. Let's go to the next one, inspector. Before that, let me just go and terminate this server. Okay, okay, fine. I can't show you that then, but. And so inspector actually is created only for your EC2 instances. So consider inspector. If I ask you that, can you go and have a look at your EC2 instance to understand is everything is good, what will you do? First of all, you will go to your server, then you will go to the security group, look at the inbound port and the outbound port, how much, what all security is there, and you might give a threat assessment list that I believe that all these ports are enabled or disabled and so on. Next part. Over here, inspector is a service that AWS actually runs, which can run once or it can run weekly, and it will go and automatically run inside each of your EC2 instances. And again, over here, it will generate a report for you to tell you that I see that these all services are stopped, or I see that these all services are running and these IPs are accessing it more, and this particular network port is enabled and I see more traffic coming from these particular IPs and so on. So that is your inspector service. Remember, inspector service only works inside your EC2 instances. So it runs and it will tell you that if at all there is a finding in this case. Okay, so again, the same old story as per the severity, and this target is nothing but the instance. Finding it, what is it found out, date is when it actually ran. Okay, template is based on what template you have prepared. So you can prepare a template over here. In short, if you create this, you will tell AWS that I want you to run these all tests inside my machine. It can be various type of tests, like I was telling yesterday about the honeypot attack, or maybe I want to DOS or DDoS a machine and so on. So based on whatever things you have created, it is going to go and run that particular event for you. Okay, so that's inspector. Now Macy. Macy is a pretty new thing actually. Macy works only inside your S3 bucket. That is point number one. Now, what it does is it goes inside your S3 buckets and says that if there is any data that should not be there or that is not secured. To give you an idea, you have created a PDF of a person whose name, email address, let's say Aadhaar number, their phone number is visible. It's on the S3 bucket, and by mistake, it's as a public object, which means anyone in this world can go and access it. Now in real time, when you have hundreds and hundreds of buckets and you can have millions of objects inside the bucket, how will you go and understand that what object is a problem or what object is there that can create a problem for me? More important than that, you see, you might choose to create certain objects as a public object. You don't always say that everything should be private only. Certain objects can be a public object. In that case, if if I have two files as the public object, I want to understand which of them should be private and which of them should be public. AWS can automatically do it for you using the service known as Macy. So basically, any sensitive data that is there, it will discover and it will tell you that these or this is the information that is there inside your bucket, which I believe should be hidden, or this is the particular bucket that is a public bucket. So basically, whenever it happens, no, it will show you something like this. So again, my advice, go through the video itself, because if in case you forget that this is only for 30 days, it can create a problem. Okay, so have a look. Out of these all buckets, 41 buckets which I have, 40 buckets are not publicly, one bucket is publicly accessible. If I click over there, it will also show me the bucket, which is a public bucket, and it is telling me that these many objects are classifiable and the information that is available inside that is 1.6 MB. So ideally, this bucket, try to make it a private bucket. It is just telling you, if you want to go and have a look at it, you can click over here on this plus button and it will tell you. So is it the public read access is there, this is there, whether it is replicated, basically all the properties of your buckets are being shown over here. Okay, now this is very important, and the reason for that is, first of all, let's go to this one and see these all buckets it is telling you. So if anyone tells you that okay, I have thousands of bucket in that, can you tell me just in very easy terms that is there any confidential data inside the bucket, and if it is there, how much data is there? The answer is this: Amazon Macy. Now this is a very promising service inside AWS. The reason is you don't have to do anything. It is automatically telling you that these are the things which can create a problem for you. This encryption is not there over here, it is not required here, it is there whether you have sharing or not. So basically whether I have shared my bucket with anyone or not. Also, if there was any problem where someone was trying to access my bucket, it will show up in these two columns over here. Okay, now last part, Macy, AWS told approximately 2 years back now that Macy is such a success that they will also enable Macy on the other storage services of AWS. For example, imagine that you don't have to worry about the data privacy. EBS or whatever data is inside your EBS or inside your volumes can be tagged via Macy. Macy will just run a sweep on that, and it will tell you that if at all any service or any volume can create an issue. If it is publicly, obviously a volume cannot be publicly exposed, but if in case it is attached to an instance which is publicly available, and more than that, if any file inside that can be available publicly, and if it contains any private information. Okay, so those things can be done via Macy. So this is a service. Now, generally, whenever people in the interviews for sure are going to ask you about Macy, please tell them that it can be used, first of all, only by S3. Second, if at all you want any information to be tagged in your S3, you can use Macy as a service. Yes, Neha.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask something.
Good, you will
Okay,
remember it in 1
forgot
minute,
it. Okay,
and then you will
I'll
ask me.
ask
Okay,
you
cool.
later.
So let's go back to
You said that one of your bucket data file or something was public.
I
So,
didn't say, they said.
yeah, they said,
Hmm.
but are you sure that particular file has some critical data which should have not been public?
Cool, let's have a look at it. It is telling me 113 files are there. Let's go and have a look at that bucket.
Like
So
what kind of data will be there which it considers as
let's have a look.
sensitive?
Let's have a look at that data. I want to believe that it won't show any sensitive data, but let's see.
Okay.
It is Ankit 15 March.
And also it is if we are using it, we are exposing all of our data for AWS to be able to be readable, and
Correct.
that
That is
could.
why, if you remember, it will ask you for that role also. When you enable, no, it will say that I will automatically create a role for you. You are
Okay,
telling AWS, you are authorizing it.
but isn't that matlab, it's a breach or something?
So why did you go and enable it in the first place? Isn't it?
Yeah, but if in case there is very highly official data, like
Then you should not enable it. On AWS says that we are going to protect it, we are not going to do anything on top of it.
some government companies, if they are using
They
AWS
will be using
and
government cloud.
government cloud.
Yep. Or don't enable it. No, you have only enabled it. No, then what will AWS do? It will anyhow run a sweep on that.
Okay.
You have only told. Okay, so let's see whether it has some confidential data or not. I went inside this index.html file over here, And I just copied this address. By the way, have a look. It says it is publicly accessible, right?
Yeah.
And how do I know it is publicly accessible? You can go to the permission tabs and you can see over here it is list and read. Bad thing actually, but fine, list and read. Okay, now if you go over here, this is the file that I see. Now how is that a problem? The answer is, if you go here and click on contact, it is telling you that yes, 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 yes. So this is the confidential. Now XXX or whatever it is there, just by looking at this, you can understand the person, the email and these things. That is why it is tagging it as a sensitive information. Okay, good, even though it is not sensitive, but fine. So again, this one ideally messy if you have done. You see Neha
So
over
it
here.
depends on us, no, whether we want to make it private even after it is even after it is saying
Just
that
uncheck that option. The two options, no? The public read access, uncheck it, it is private. Want to see?
No, I'm saying no, that I know, but I'm saying if Macy is telling that it is having confidential data, and we say that it's not a problem, so we it's okay if we don't make it private, no?
Depends on you. Macy is just advising you. You take action or not, that depends on you.
Okay, that error will always be there, no, in Macy.
Yes,
Like
yes.
Okay, fine.
You can choose to suppress that.
Okay.
Okay, good. So Macy is done. Now the next one. Single sign-on. Let's leave this for now because this is one. Certificate manager, you know, right? ACM, SSL certificates, HTTPS, isn't it?
Yeah, but we didn't do it.
You haven't created your certificate till now, Neha.
Inside the service, I think we have created.
So it is that only.
In North Virginia, we need to create. You said that is this is what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Okay. Next one. Certificate manager, KMS, key management service. Very important thing actually. You have seen this every day. On class 1, when we started with S3 actually, here, so any of the bucket if we choose, over here, and then if you go and see over here, you have your object lock. What was the object lock, by the way?
Nobody should be able to access your object inside the bucket.
Good. Now let's say, correct. Now let's say that I go back to my object over here and this object is there, isn't it? Now this object is written as a readable. Please don't be confused over here. You will have this server side encryption also, and you will have your object lock also. Don't be confused. That is why I showed you object lock. You know, object lock is only to protect people from deleting your data. On the other hand, you might want to encrypt your data. How do you encrypt? Just click on edit over here. At that point of time, I told you that some magical keys are there, and these keys can be taken from AWS. By default, we just went and took Amazon S3 key, which means that any data which is now kept inside my bucket is all encrypted. This is also known as encryption at rest. While the data is stored inside S3, this data will be encrypted. Encryption at rest. With what key? This key. Amazon S3 key, or I could have taken my key also, something known as KMS or Key Management Service. In this case, okay, one thing very fast, why is this showing me as US East 2 even though I am inside my Mumbai region? No. Okay, fine. We'll come. No idea. Good. We will come to that. But before that, you could have taken your own key also over here. Okay. The reason for that is if it is showing you, then obviously this bucket is also inside that region only. No. Abhijit on 9 March. What is the region? Same, that is what it was showing. Fine, let's go back. Now, here I can choose my own encryption key. Instead of telling AWS that you encrypt the data with your key, I will tell AWS that I am creating a key for me. How? Let's give it a name. Let's say K1. And let's call it as key1. Next step, first you will say that who is the admin of this key. Here you will see two type of people. First you will see the role, second you will see the user. Okay, so don't be confused. Role and user, if you see, are the same things only, isn't it? User has permissions or policy, role has permission on policy. Role, the only thing is role is used by a service and user is an actual person over there. So you might want to create an admin of this key. If nothing, it will be tagged to the root user. Then you can also tell that who can use this key, which role can use or which user can go, no worries. Now, finally, this policies at this point of time, I want to believe that you understand also. E, A, R, it is going to work on this particular account. And finally, if you click on finish, this key K1 is created for you. And now if you want, this key can be used to encrypt anything inside AWS actually. This you were seeing from day one. Let's start. First, here, this, I want to encrypt the data, edit, enable key, my key, which key? Let it refresh. Oh, what was the region over here? Mumbai, no? So let's go for a bucket which is in Mumbai. It is out on this one. Also, let's also start EC2 in the meantime. Fine. Going back.
So it is region specific.
Yes, KMS, everything, almost everything is region specific only. Don't ask this now. Everything is region only, no?
No, I mean, if we are creating a KMS key and we can't use it in all the ACs.
No. Same thing. You create a certificate. Can you create? That is also a key only, no? Isn't it?
Yeah.
ACM certificate is also a key only, no?
Yeah.
Very good. I don't have that key only. I need a bucket which is in Mumbai. So let me show you this first. Here, let's go to volumes. Mumbai. Here, if I create a volume and then encrypt the volume with what key? K1. Okay, this key. This was EC2. Let's go to Mumbai and see a bucket with I have some data. No worries. Let me just put some data over there then.
Ankit, like if there is a failover kind of situation,
where
then
failover where?
Like if in the sense if there are regions and if there is if one data center or one region is down totally, then the operations if they are carrying out with
what operation?
the other
operation is using what service? Tell me first.
EC2
EC2
and all of that
EC2.
related.
Okay, EC2
yeah.
network peering. EC2 is connected to VPC. VPC will have network peering. It will continue.
So
second,
how it will be whether it will be KMS, how it will happen? I mean,
Neha, KMS
what is the role
is just
of KMS?
to encrypt the data. KMS is not doing anything. When the data is inside your hard disk, it is just encrypting that.
Okay.
KMS is not doing anything. It is just encrypting from a readable to an unreadable format. That's it. When we are in security, no, please don't think that this is more protecting your data. What is happening is this. What is happening is these services, compute, storage, database, this, protecting all of this comes here. That's it. So if you are working on this, just know that something over here has already been done. You are just working on top of it.
Yeah, but if there is a one region down, and if is definitely will enable multi-region, right? So
Correct.
if the services are running through the second region,
Yes.
then if that in that region there is no synchronization between region 1 and region 2 in
Okay.
terms of KMS,
Mm.
then encryption will not happen there.
Encryption, no, you will have a different key over there. Encryption will happen via that key.
Okay, 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 fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Over here inside S3, I could have given an encryption key. Again, the same old story. This one, choose from the key, and then your key will appear over here, K1. Just remember, if it is not available, means it is not in multi-regions. Fine. If you want, you can also create the key. That is what we did in the first class, where it had taken us to KMS. We didn't understand it then. We do understand it now, that you can take the key.
But
Okay.
there is already an option of using Amazon keys.
Correct. Correct. You can use
What
that.
is the difference between this and that? Then, like,
This key is your key. That
okay,
Amazon is encrypting your data, my data, by the same key. That's it. The companies you only told, no, some financial company, government companies will say, why are you using that key? Why are you taking, I want my own key. You
but
create your own key.
how is it a problem? Like a key in the sense, if Amazon is giving you, is this a key pair or it's only a private key?
See,
This
first of all,
K1
Neha, it always has to be key pair, because you cannot,
key
if
pair.
you only have one key, then you can only encrypt or you can only decrypt, which is basically nothing then. So it anyhow is always a key pair. Okay. Second thing. Yes. Second thing. What was the question? This was question one.
Yeah, I was asking Amazon ka key pair, if we are using,
Yes.
it is free of cost. No, we can use
No,
that,
no, no,
or
no, no.
is
It's
there?
not free of cost. It is charging you for encryption and decryption.
Okay.
It is just that you don't have to go and create a key separately. Anything that you encrypt or decrypt, no, Amazon is charging two operations for that. One for encryption, one for decryption.
Okay, but why we will be using K1? I mean this KMS
Because
instead
this
of
is your key, mental piece,
Ach-
my key. I have created this key. I can change this key also. That's why. If you use
okay, if
K1
we
or
use
you
that, we won't be able to change it.
no changing, you can do at any point of time. You say that this data, you can go and change it also. If you go over here, go to S3 object, you still have the option to change the key. No, changing to you can do at any point of time.
Okay.
Basically, the
From Amazon key, if we are using, can we replace it to this one if we want,
you can replace it. Yes.
while creating the bucket or while
No,
uploading the
bucket you
object,
don't.
or
Bucket, no, bucket you don't do. No,
okay, object level.
object you
Okay.
do. Yes, volume you do.
So we need to delete it first and then upload it
No, no,
with
no.
the
Why?
new key, or
Why are you so confused here?
okay, maybe in properties we have. Okay, fine, got it.
No, no. Now I'll show. You have asked me many questions on this. Now I'll have to show you. 8. Maybe its controller not working. No, 8. Okay. Encrypt. Which key? First K1. Create. Okay. Let it happen. Wait. You're not showing here. Okay. Very good. Okay. See, the volume is not coming over here. Let's fix it first of all. Let's create a normal volume. And let's call it works. This one, no. Let's call it works. And then next we will call it doesn't work, by the way. No, next will also work. So let's call it works -1. And then create volume. And you will only tell me that why did it happen. Let's call this it works -2 here. And let's use encryption, and I want to use Amazon key, and it works -2. Okay, so basically 2 volumes are there now. It works 1, it works 2. However, I'll create 1 volume, and this one I will say it doesn't work with this one. Any idea why when I'm choosing my K1 it's not working?
Because only one key per volume maybe.
This is one key only, no? Okay, this key is there. Okay, see, what is it encrypted with? Amazon key, no?
Yeah.
Whatever key is there, fine, no worries. First of all, your question over here, whatever I want to do, I can modify it. Yes, over here, if I want, can I change it, delete these all things? Yes. Status check, monitoring, these all things are there. Fair enough, it works. The reason why this key is not working over here is encrypt this. If you're choosing K1, if you go back to the class somewhat, you might recollect that this key was pending deletion. The only thing is it is not refreshed over there. This key was actually disabled. So even though it is visible to you at that point of time, you cannot go and do anything with that key, which means that essentially anyone who's trying to use that particular key will see a error, or they won't see a error only. That's the problem. If it would have told us with the red something that dude you have deleted it, why are you doing that, we would have understood.
But
So
it created a volume, no?
no,
One volume.
one I
With K1.
created with no encryption, second I
Okay.
created with AWS
Okay.
encryption.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Okay, so that's your KMS, by the way. And where have we reached? Only till here. So one, this is big. This we have done. Two, this. Yeah, let's start. No, leave it.
Have